Hello, welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevette, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right. One quick disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on, based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Give us a like, love, or comment, and remember to share your experience with others because there is always room for more in this bus. That's right.
Hey, right on. Welcome back. This is our second podcast. I'm Jason Gobelli. We got Scott here. We got a special guest, Allan Hassoun.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Hi there, Jason. And I think you might want to record this as well.
Allan, it's being recorded, so you're on.
Oh my God, you must be a hypnotist.
Allan is known as the Mind Alchemist. And Allan, we've been wondering, what do you mean by the Mind Alchemist?
So I know that for a fact, everything is the way you believe it is. And if you believe that you could make something into something else, it is so. So I don't really look at reality and say it has to be the way that you tell me the story. I just take that story and make it even better. And I do it for my clients. I do it for my family. I do it for everyone because there's a sucky story and there's a really good story. So that's what Mind Alchemy is about. Changing your perception on things so you can live a better life.
So Allan, now that you're saying that, why don't you give us your really good story? How about you? Tell us a little bit about you and what's your really good story?
Geez, there's so many of them that I'd have to pick through a whole lot of them. But you know what? It's really about helping people when you have someone that is going through a hard time and you could just do something miraculous. So, okay, so you wanted the fun stuff, right? Here I am. I'm a dowser. I use the pendulum to measure energy, change energy, and ask questions about the person. So I will ask questions about things such as, is there any geopathic stress affecting the person? Geopathic stress is really just energy created from moving water under a person's bed. There's a lot of documented cases in Europe of people in sick houses where generation after generation after generation, they've been sleeping over the same spot and they get the same sickness in the same place. But through the power of the mind, a gentleman by the name of Raymond Grace taught us that you can move water from thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of miles away. I don't know how far 100,000 miles is, so I'm making that part up. But you can move water from anywhere, from the comfort of your own living room, just to the mind. And we do it all the time. So because you could measure it, you could actually find out that the water is no longer there. It's been moved from one place to the other. And the whole thing is that as long as the intention is for a positive purpose, you can't do anything wrong.
So, Allan, so that said, so are we talking about moving physical water or metaphysical water, spiritual type water in the mind?
Physical water.
Where are you moving it from and to?
So basically, if it's affecting a person, I will ask it to be moved to a place where it cannot harm property or person. And then here comes the dowser with his sticks and saying, oh my God, it's no longer under the house. It's moved over like 3 feet over, so it's not cracking the foundation neither. You could actually determine that the water's moved. So when I was going out to see the farmers who said, I need a well, it has to give me 80 gallons of water per hour, per day, whatever it was. It has to be clean, potable, enough for all my family's needs. I would go there with my sticks and try to find the exact location of the water. As I got really better at moving it with my mind, I would kind of figure out this is a pretty good place. Could the water be moved to here? And I would focus, visualize, and just ask the water, is it willing and able to go there for this family and stay there as well? So I didn't have to be as exact. It's like cheating, where all these people are really exact. I'm just like, nah.
So, Allan, you're not really just a mind alchemist, you're the water whisperer, huh?
I am at that as well. And you know what? One thing I love is I love to work with content free. So I work with autistic children. I work with horses. I work with dogs because they can verbalize things for us. So the way I do that is that I've established my responses in my right hand. I use pendulums and stuff as well. But just to show you, I would put my hand up like this. And if I ask a question to myself, is this animal suffering, yes or no? And my finger starts going yes. I would say, okay, so is there anything that's going on in his body? Yes. Is it an allergy? No. Is it a food sensitivity? No. Like I'll go through 100 questions until I find the root cause. Or I could even say, could you please go to the root cause of the problem and change it in that animal? So Jason, just to give you an example of something that I did many years ago, this was probably 20 years ago, I learned about spare parts in spirit world. And so a spare part to me, I think of the Fram filters that you have in your car. And I would say, are there any spare parts that this person needs to get better? And if I would get a yes, then I would say, okay, could you please go check out that old part, adjust it, put a new filter in, a new liver part, or a missing part that would help that liver to work properly. I would get a yes, and the person would get better. So
let's talk here real quick, Allan, now that you said that. With the yeses and the nos, you're actually talking to something. Is that an inner self? Is that a higher self? Is that a higher being? Or we're talking to God? Or what's giving you these answers of the yes and no and revealing the hidden mysteries of where the water's at?
So the answer is yes, yes, and yes, and yes to all your 4 questions. But you know what? We're all one. I'm connected to you through the universe. You're not really separate from me. You might look different to me, but we're all really connected. So when I go up internally and say, could you please connect me to the highest level for the highest benefit of all concerned? I don't really care who I'm talking to. I don't know if it's my crazy mind just giving me stuff and I'm saying, oh, it's the spirit of Jason Gabelli, or who cares? It's just like, as long as it doesn't harm or hurt anybody, I'm aligned.
So that's kind of cool. So that means I can get into your mind and fuck with things if I want to, huh?
You can not.
Well, I think you have the ability to get in ours too. So that's kind of nice because we are connected. So I love that definition there.
So, Jason, a few of the demonstrations I've done, and I don't want to take up the whole podcast. I haven't even let Scott say a word so far. But you know that pain is my number one thing right now these days, that I've just taken people into hypnosis. And before I take them there, I pre-frame it for them. I say, you know what? You've got pain in your body. Do I have permission to go and remove all that unnecessary pain from you? And most people would say, no, I love my pain. So they usually agree with me. But then I say, in a moment, I'm going to put my hand through the screen and I'm going to reach in right into your body and I'm going to pull it out. And you might feel sensations. You might feel something in your body. And so now, if you're ready, just close your eyes and I'm going to do that for you. And so I go in and I'm actually feeling around I'm almost grabbing a rope by one end, and I start making these noises. I think I got it. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I'm pulling it. And I make all these grunting noises. But the person, when they have the trust and the belief that something will shift, it does. And most of the time they say, I feel it feels like it's coming out. It's coming out. Yeah. And is it hurting? Yeah, it's hurting. I'm still pulling, Jason. I'm still pulling. give me a break. And then I go, and they say, oh my God, it's out. It's out. And I say, is the pain there? Look for it. Try to find it. He said, oh my God, that's freaky. It's a little bit of hypnosis, but who cares? Call it hypnosis, call it alchemy, call it psychic healing. The end result, people come to see me for a result and not the method.
Allan, when you're in there and when you're pulling, do you actually feel this?
So I believe that the arms, the hands are an extension of the soul. They're an extension of me. When I tell people, think it, feel it, it's not about just like, I think I'm healthy. If you feel something, and there's no better, easier way to feel something as if you're doing it. If I say I'm pulling it and I feel I'm pulling it, guess what? I'm pulling at it.
Yes, yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is inside you, do you sense a feeling when you're pulling at it?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not a feely person. But for example, I'll say, now I'm going to come back and clean it up. I feel something. I might just feel the air in between my hands, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because for them, it's real.
So maybe it's not on a kinesthetic level, but are you seeing it happening? Are you visualizing it happening as you're pulling this pain out?
I will say yes. I'm totally in the experience as if I am doing it.
Yes, yes. Scott, you have any questions on this that you want to throw at Allan here? I feel like I
Sure.
covered the whole thing.
Sure. Allan, you mentioned hypnotism, and you've mentioned dowsing, and you've mentioned pendulum work. What are some of the things that, like, let's say if I'm just an average person, and what kind of issues could I have that I would need to come see you about?
Well, the fact that you're an average person, that's the first reason you'd want to come and see me. So yes, to answer your question, I help people to fix problems in their lives and improve things that they're already good at. So, for example, we have salespeople all over the country. I know Jason does real estate where he's at. I do real estate over here. But you know what? When the economy tanks and everyone's having trouble making a buck, there's a lot of anxiety out there. And sometimes, I shouldn't say sometimes, we are creatures of habit. We are programmed in to act a certain way. So you change the whole dynamics and people are still acting exactly the same way they were last year and the year before and the year before that. So if I could help them to increase their sales, or if I could help them to release their resistance to getting more money from doing the same amount of work, I would do that. So Scott, when I got into the hypnosis part, I was selling real estate. And I went to see a friend and I said to her, she was a hypnotist. I didn't know that at the time. But she told me after we discussed that I had some resistance to honoring my commissions. So I'm allowed to charge anywhere between, let's say, 2.5% to 5% to my client. But the minute I'd find out that I had competition, I was so scared because I was starving realtor to ask for that 5%. I would go in with, okay, 2.75, anything to get a sale, just to get my sign on the lawn and have some food on the table. And when I released that fear of asking what I was worth, I doubled my income. And it wasn't from doubling the effort. It wasn't by doubling the number of listings I had. It was just by asking for what I was worth, which was, I'm a great realtor. So for all those salespeople listening to this, one of my go-to questions is, when someone says, how much do you charge in commissions? If I say 5%, they say, oh, no, that's no good. If I say 4%, you know what they say? No, no good. If I say 1%, can't you do better? So I've changed that. Now I'm so confident with who I am that I just say, listen, I'm going to pay the cooperating agent 2.5%. How much do you want to pay me? What, you don't want to pay me? Well, you know where you could go? Go see Jason. He's a great realtor. But seriously, the minute I said that, they would say, how about 4.75? We'd negotiate a little bit. I'd say, fine, 4.75. I never have a problem with commission anymore.
Awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, I pretty well do the same thing. But here's the thing, what I also found out, and you brought that up, creatures of habit. And you said that when we start these habits and we get stuck in these habits. And what I find interesting is that not only can they be negative habits, but they can be positive habits too. Now, what you shared with me earlier is that you were in the real estate business. And it seems like in the real estate business, the way that I see it, is that we help people make sometimes a major life-changing decision when they buy these places. Now that you're doing this mind work and this, working as alchemist and doing this other stuff, helping people, you're helping them make life-changing decisions still. And that said, isn't it sort of like taking that habit and going in a different direction?
Well, so yes, I guess, because you know what? There's momentum in our lives. Every thought that we've ever thought, every feeling we've ever had creates a certain momentum. It creates our reality. So if I think I'm happy, chances are that I'll be unhappy for the rest of my life are no good. So you want to keep the positive momentum going in the thoughts and feelings. You want to change those thoughts, beliefs that are no longer serving you and putting them in a different direction. But let me tell you something about where the dowsing really helps with my clients in real estate. My clients have an energy. I measure the energy of the client. If it's around, I'll ask what the ideal energy for the client, and the scale doesn't really matter, but on my book, on my scale, it should be around between 32 and 36,000. The energy of their property should be at 32 or 36,000. So when it's below that, I know that the client has a problem. And then through my idiomotor, I'll ask, is there a relationship problem affecting this client? Yes or no? Is there a relationship problem that will affect the sale of this house? Yes or no? Is the energy of the house appropriate to attract the right buyer who would love, enjoy this place? Yes or no? And when I get a no, I could say, can we change the energy around there? This is where the mind alchemy is. Could we put the right energy to attract the right client in record time so that this person can move forward?
Interesting. And
Nice.
I know I got you thinking. I could see the rust coming out of the.
Oh no, it's actually not rust, it's dirt, because most of the places, not most, but a lot of the places that I sell have major issues. I work with the name of my real estate company is Solid Real Estate Solutions. So of course I get all the problems because I'm saying I'm the solution guy. But it's interesting that you put it that way, because a lot of times what I do is I'll put these things on the market. We know they have issues, but we create an atmosphere where everyone comes at once. Everyone wants to see it because all these investors think they're going to get the deal. And what it does is creates all this energy and all this thinking. And when so many people show up at once, it creates the buying frenzy. They get into bidding wars. And it's like if I went to a bar and I was going to auction off a $100 bill, I'd probably get about $96, $97 every single time. And when you get the right amount of people there, create that right energy, that's kind of what happens. And that's also kind of what happens in our minds when we create that right energy. Change happens. And all of a sudden, that thing that was a mess, that thing that was a disaster, ends up being a moneymaker for somebody, and they turn around, they clean it up, and turn it into something beautiful.
That's awesome.
Now,
that's awesome.
And interesting enough, now that we got Scott here, Scott's a magician. So he does this in a way too, because he creates a state and creates an illusion to change matters that are happening and change a person's mindset. Isn't that right, Scott?
Yeah, trying to get people to think about and perceive things in a different way. I think everybody has that perception. They think they understand what they see, and then they see a magic trick that's totally, completely unbelievable, and it lets them think of different options.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. So speaking of different options, now let's get back to you, Allan, because you're our guest today, and pretty much even though Scott's guiding the bus and I'm driving the bus, you know what's happening is you're the tour. So we're going through you, and we're riding down your highway today on our psychic highway. So let's talk about that with different options. So when you approach each client, what tells you what direction to take and what path to take and what methods to do before you even talk to them?
Great question.
What I really like, we're talking about hypnosis again, and what I like to do, I work content free, because whatever garbage comes out of your mouth really doesn't matter. The garbage coming out is the garbage that created the problem in the first place. And you can't find the solution while talking about the problem. And the unconscious mind they know everything. The unconscious mind knows everything about the person. And so if you're coming to see me, it's not because you're saying, I love being in this lousy situation. And I'll correct myself, because before I did say some people want to make something good better, but most of my clients are coming to see me because something's not working, either in their relationship or in their body or in their finances or all of the above, because when something's not working, it kind of cascades into all areas of their life. So when I ask them what they want, generally I'll get everything they don't want. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to drink too much. I don't want to wake up with a hangover. They kind of avoid what they want because they don't know what they want. They're so familiar with what they don't want, and that's all they talk about, that I kind of tune them out most of the time. And yet it is an illusion, because when I ask them to close their eyes and go to that level where I could talk to that part of them that knows everything, it knows what they like, what they don't like, how much they like it, how available it is. And I could say, just make the changes without knowing what the issue is. And the result is phenomenal. So even this morning, I had someone who came here, and she's 74 years old. She had a knee surgery, and she's still limping. She wants more flexibility in her body. She's telling me about how another part of her body is probably hurting because of the knee, and now she's walking funny because her hip and her knee are working. And I just like blah 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 as I'm pretending to take notes, because at the end it's really, what do you want? I want to feel good, and I help them. I help them, guide them to the right words. I want to be able to walk and go back on walks with my friends on the hiking trails. I love going out to dancing every Friday night. So tell your conscious mind, this is what I want, because when you have a final destination, it's really easy to go there and do that. And then through a list of maybe 200 or 300 questions, again, there's many ways of doing hypnosis. I will say, is there any trauma that cause or affect this issue of not being able to walk? If I get a yes, I ask the unconscious mind, could you find the solution and activate the right solution for this person on that supposed knee that's hurting? And I reminded her, by the way, that she didn't really have a knee. It's an artificial thing that they put in there. So the knee is in the garbage right now. So I said, your knee is not hurting. It's in the garbage. What's hurting is something else. So stop calling it my knee problem. So
Nice. Nice. It's interesting because we went back to where we were. You said you asked your unconscious mind. So we're back to the internal self, the higher self, than that, the ways of the world, the universe, and God. So it's back to that same connection, that connection where we're all connected. And then the other thing is I want to throw this out here real quick too, Allan, because you said you work content free, but in all actuality, you're picking up content from the side of the psychic highway and putting it in somebody's, hey, they got a bad liver. I'm going to take this liver out and I'm going to put the new liver in. So there's actually content involved.
So in hypnosis, my go-to is content free. But you are absolutely right. When I'm working with a dog, I saw a dog get hit on the side of the road as he was chasing a squirrel or something. The car took off and the owner came out totally frantic. I mean, here I am with my hands on the dog doing Reiki, with my finger coming up saying, "You're okay." And all I was getting was the internal dialogue from the dog saying, "You know what? My owner must be so upset. Look at him. He's crying." And I'm just like, "He'll be okay. You know what? Let's work on you." But I didn't know if he was hurt, if something was broken. But after about 15 minutes, he just, okay, wagged the tail, wagged it off, said, "Look, I'm going to put on a good show for my owner," jumped up back on his feet. So I don't know, was it content free? Was I really talking to the dog? Was I talking to my finger that was bopping up and down? I don't know. But the dog was okay. He was happy, wagging tail and everything.
Nice. So you're not only the water whisperer, you're the dog whisperer as well.
I do Reiki, and you know what? I'm just like you. I listen to Caesar Milan. I give the dog attitude. I say I'm alpha dog and whatever. The truth is, anybody who comes to see us is looking for a result. They don't care if you say you talk to yourself or you. And I have one more story as well, or the spirit of something. So here's my story. I have this lady. This was maybe 10, 12 years ago. And she comes for a Reiki session. I don't know what was wrong with her anymore. But what I clearly remember is that I used to tell people in my healing, you need to give the person who's coming the belief that something will happen, something good will happen. And some people need you to hold a chicken over their head and chant like magic, like a voodoo doctor, for them to believe you. And I'm very strong on symbology. So here she is, her eyes are closed, my eyes are closed while my hands are, that's right, on her head. And I open my eyes and I see a chicken between her legs. This was my dog's toy chicken that he must have thrown up, landed right between her legs. And I said, "Oh, she must need something more." So I'm taking the gong and ooga, 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 whatever. You know, the person needs to believe to get better. If they don't believe, you're wasting your time. So if you need a toy chicken, go get one, Jason. I recommend the rubber kind, the one that has a weak neck. And
No need for me to choke the chicken there, Allan, but Scott, you have anything you want to throw in here?
Man, I don't know about y'all have covered a couple topics that I didn't think was possible.
Nice. Allan, I want to say it's been very interesting. It's been a pleasure having you on here. And real quick, I want you to let everyone out here know how they could reach you if they want to contact you.
How do we get in touch?
Some of this stuff happen.
yeah, so I am at mindalchemist.ca. That's probably the easiest way to do that. You could book a discovery call. I don't charge for my discovery calls. I actually like to talk to people, even though a lot of the time I see right through the stories. I've become very good at reading between the lines, because what people say and what people mean very often are two different things. But at the end, everyone wants to feel good. And if I could leave you with an idea that there's only really two emotions, one feels good, one feels bad. All labels are things in between that people put there to say they're feeling bad or feeling good. So if someone's feeling bad, my only objective is to get them to that next level of feeling good or better.
And now we got that. Now where we know how to find you and that, I got another question for you, and it's going to be about your business. I look over and I look at your logo that you have over there. You're a certified practitioner. SP with a purple. You had it good. I could see it. SP with the purple butterfly. So what's the SP and the purple butterfly all about there, Allan?
So I've been certified by many different hypnosis associations, institutions, and academies. SP stands for the Simpson Protocol. I took this course. It was a 4-day course, and it's my go-to for hypnosis because it allows me to, again, do a lot of things content-free. when I took some of the other courses, such as in MMHA, Jacqueline Academy, even with Joanne Eady of the Canadian Hypnosis Association, they all had a story or what would I call it, a script, where they said, oh, you have pain, you have to read word for word or say word for word in some kind of fashion, exactly that script to allow that person to be free of pain. But if we were all the same, exactly the same story would work on everybody. But allowing me to use my creative imagination and say, if you have pain in your body, give it a shape, give it a color, give it a sound if you have to, and then pull it out of your body and put something else in. The minute something changes, you've changed that person. The person will never be the same if they believe something has changed. So with it, blah, blah, blah.
You're good.
That's
You're
why
good,
I have my
brother.
coffee.
You're good.
So with the SP protocol, I have the power of my imagination, which is beyond most people's. Like when you tell me close your eyes and go somewhere, where do I go? To the bottom of the ocean or to a different planet where things are just not the same? Where here we talked about the blacks, the whites, the greens, the yellows fighting against each other, but where I go, they're all pink and purple and butterflyish, if you wish.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Jason, I wanted to say one more thing about the SP, which is since I've been taking it, I have become so intuitive that I wake up at about 4:44 every morning, give or take 1 minute, and I meditate for probably 2 to 3 hours. I get downloads of information like you wouldn't believe to allow me to create a better life for myself and the people around me. So I've become very, very intuitive. Like I know what you're thinking before you think. That's right. Don't even think it. So yeah, it's been a really good journey for me.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if you can think of where I was going with that one, but I was just wondering if that happy place happened to be, that calm place out on the beach, the nice place on the woods, or, the strip club over at the corner. Anyway.
And it's funny you should mention that because there's a song about seven virgins dancing. I can't remember who wrote the song. Does it ring a bell?
No, sing it.
I'm trying to remember the words. I just remember the words about seven virgins.
Yes.
But anyways, yesterday I'm doing a session and I'm telling the guy, think of something pleasant, like seven virgins dancing. And all of a sudden the smile comes up on his face. I said, take that feeling, double that feeling. Make it feel even 14 virgins. Why not?
That's right. Whatever it takes. That was your intuition coming in there. You sense that in the guy. So
Yeah.
there it is.
Sometimes, but just like the chicken between the lady's legs, you can't choke that chicken, but
hey, this has been a lot of fun. Hey, Scott, you got anything you want to throw in there? We feel like I've hogged the session a little bit on you.
Oh, you're not. This is just that's just amazing listening to Allan and the different things that he does.
Yes, yes.
you know what? I'm very envious, Scott, because I do know that being a performer, it's all an illusion. It really becomes all an illusion. And the more you could convince people that it is an illusion or that it's real, the more you could help them. So I know that even when I go into a restaurant and I have people with me, if I could hypnotize someone to touch their foot and their hand is glued to their foot, that convinces everybody around me. It gives me the credibility to be able to help them at the highest level. Because like I said, when someone believes that you are as good as they think you are, you're probably even better than they expect. So if they come in with the attitude, can you hypnotize me? You sure you could be hypnotized? I've never been hypnotized. Better people than you have tried. I'm not even going to try with them, but if I get one person there stuck to the floor with their head kissing their knees, let's say, then you got a shot. You really have a shot at helping a whole bunch of people. And one of the things I really do a lot of is group sessions, because I know I help a lot of people. I mean, today I have something like 6 sessions booked between 9 o'clock this morning and the last one, 6 o'clock tonight. And they're back-to-back sessions, but I'd rather have 12 people come in 1 hour where I can help all 12 of them than to do one at a time. So that's where I think my focus is. And now that we have Zoom and sessions like this, my next self-hypnosis session, I could do 120, 150 people at a time and teach them self-hypnosis and let them have the tools to do it themselves. And that's, we're very, very fortunate. Of all the things that are going right in this planet is this ability to be one together at the same time in more places than we could have imagined before.
That's
You said Zoom call, Alan. Could you explain a little bit and tell people what it is that you can do over a Zoom call?
Oh yeah, so on Zoom is just perception. I believe just the same way I put my hand through the screen, that I could pull that pain right out of that person's body. They feel the tingling, they feel the sensation, their eyes are closed because they have a belief that we are connected somehow. And so right now, if I say, Scott, close your eyes, just allow them to close. And I'm going to take you into trance. There's nothing I could do to you that you don't want done. And there's nothing that I could do to you, even if I was in person with you. But because you now believe, there's enough evidence to show that there's success over the internet. All I want to do is make sure you're okay. And so I will tell someone, close your eyes, go into that level of deep trance, and we are going to do something for you. So if I'm doing it content free, I'm going to say, allow your unconscious mind to find what the real problem is, find and activate a solution, install the solution. And when it's installed and they're completely able to come up, when it's installed and they're completely at ease that it's installed, they will open their eyes at that point. So I could do anything that I could do in front of a person except catch them if they fall. And I set it up so at the beginning, I know that they're safe. So they could be in their bed. As long as I could see their hand, yes, because I'm not talking to them anymore. Yes, he's crazy. Could you make him normal? No, Jason will always be Jason. Okay, you can make him Scott. No, Scott is not Jason. So I talk to you and your unconscious mind for what you're here to see me.
And that said, when Alan's saying close your eyes, if you happen to be driving, please do not close your eyes while you're driving and listening to this podcast.
So explain to me, Jason, that highway hypnosis, aren't there a bunch of truck drivers driving with their eyes closed?
Here's the cool thing is we're not even on the road.
You're not even real. You're not real. I think you're AI.
And then the other thing here is that I was thinking too, and Scott brought it up and you brought it up too. If indeed it's all an illusion and the whole world's a stage, then aren't we all the actors in the illusion?
They are, but
We are all characters.
But the whole thing is, if you say to yourself, because the other thing that you probably don't know, I've been studying law of attraction since I saw Abraham Hicks down in, I think it was LA the first time back in 1997. And I know that you are the center of the universe, of your universe. So you manifest everything around you. So to attract new clients, I pull out a pad every day and I write down a list of 20 clients that I absolutely love, because that creates the energy of the next 20 clients that are coming into my life. If I keep in my mind, that guy's such a wiener, I'll try to be polite on this show, but the guy's a wiener, his wife is an idiot, and his son is an even bigger wiener. You know, the minute you start putting out intentions like that, that's what comes back to you. So if you want a great life and you are director of your play, you don't have to know what room you're going to be in, but you know that the next person who's going to come to you is going to say, oh, I love this guy. What a great guy. He's so funny. He's so talented. I love being with him. Could you could you hypnotize me? Could you sell my house? Because when you focus on what you want. So for me, it's, I want to be kind. I want freedom. I want joy. I want prosperity. I want love. I want the world to get, doesn't matter what I want the world to be. I want to be kind, because if I'm kind, I will make a difference in someone's life. And hopefully if I make enough difference in enough people's lives, the whole world will be kind to each other.
Nice, nice.
I
And
almost caught myself. I did catch myself when I say I want someone else to be different, so I'm happy. That's conditional.
and
Yeah, that's true.
that when I heard you, when I hear this, and it's the words of a hypnotist, I want, I want, I want. I was wondering if you knew how many hypnotists it takes to screw in a light bulb.
7.
No, only one. All they have to do is hold the light bulb and let the world revolve around them.
Okay, I like that answer also, because I had no reason for saying 7. When you're as opinionated as I am, you always have to have an answer. 7, Jason. The answer is 7.
Yeah, I was
Prove
wondering
me
where
wrong,
that 7. I was wondering where that 7 came from, but
because you could not prove me wrong, right?
anyway, that's right. We want to have a little bit of fun here, so it's all good. It's all good. So with that, is there anything else you'd like to add, Scott?
I don't think so. I've enjoyed this. This has been a great trip with Allan.
Yes, it's been a great trip. Allan, is there anything you want to add or you want to throw out here?
Yeah, I want to ask you guys what you want, because everything could be manifested through the mind alchemy.
Nice. So you're asking us what we want?
Yeah.
Scott.
No,
Uh-oh.
you can't have it. Next.
I am what I want, my brother. I'm a light, and so are you. We're all lights, so we are what we want. As a matter of fact, I don't think we can be anything other right now in this moment than what we want to be right now in this moment.
So Jason, I want to leave everybody also with another idea. People think that in order to fix a body, to fix something, they really need to know everything about the body. And I will tell you a small story and then we'll end it, about how I did some psychic surgery on a lady. They called me up and they said, my sister, this was the lady's sister, she said they found a spot on the lung. We're really worried. We think it might be a tumor or cancer or something in the lung. And is there anything you could do? Now, I don't know anything about the respiratory system except it allows me to breathe. The terms, I don't know, the trachea, the whatever, trachea. And yet I closed my eyes and I thought, what would I look at if I was looking at that x-ray? I saw 2 shapes, because I've seen the shape of a lung before. It looked like 2 clouds in the sky. And I said, okay, well, what if I take an eraser and I erase that dot that's supposed to be on one of the lungs? What if I just with my hand, and yes, I do use my hand when I do energy work, and I just saw it, just like I got rid of that eraser guck, and I just swept it away and I erased it again, and then I looked and I didn't see any spot. And a week later, the lady went into the operating room, and the doctor looked at the x-ray and he said, I don't see anything here. I don't know why I'm even opening you up, but just in case the technician saw something, I'll just do a biopsy. I'll just go in and make sure it's free. But whenever you do something, if you see it in your mind, you don't have to say, I'll take a scalpel and make a number 3 incision, exactly 2 centimeters long, pull out that thing. If you could see it, imagine it in whatever way, because the mind thinks in pictures. If you could see a picture, another really good example, someone has a stiff knee. You imagine putting in a stick of dynamite and blowing up the log jam that the beavers make, right? So when energy is not flowing through the knee, it's like a log jam. Put a stick of dynamite, blow it up, and now you see all the fluids moving again. The knee starts working.
Love that. Love that.
I love WD-40. You could just put it through all the muscles, stretch them. It dissolves everything. It's great stuff.
I love that. Love that. I use white light a lot. but I like the fact that you use other things creatively for different areas. So get the great
WD-40?
visualization. What's that?
You have WD-40 where you live?
Yeah, we have WD-4. I prefer olive oil. It's more natural.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful, guys. This has been awesome. You've been a great guest, Allan. We love having you here, and love being able to get in that mind of yours and hearing some stuff. And it's been a beautiful podcast, a great trip that we've been on today. And so that said, if no one else has anything, I just want to let our guests know today that, hey, we loved having you with you. We loved having you with us. We're glad you're here. We hope you give us a like, a love, and if you don't like us and you think we're assholes, give us a thumbs down. We don't care. Just comment. Share it with others. Let us know who you are, and please get that word out. And thanks again for taking that ride with us, the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. Thanks. See you next time.
Thanks for showing up. Thank you, Allan.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.